I will check.
Okay. Oh.
You even have a QR
Oh God. Okay. Hello. We're gonna be get starting in a second. We're just figuring out some things right now. Okay.
Just doing the back end when I'm doing front.
All right.
Like I need to do, and I just
Welcome. Wow, okay, that works. Welcome everyone to the first Cognitive Science Club meeting, first in-person meeting in 1.5 years. Yeah, you can clap. Yeah. So basically, we're just gonna be going over what the club does. We're gonna introduce everyone here, kind of talk a bit about Cog Sci. We'll also go over, if you guys are interested, some information about the department, like the major and the minor, and what that might offer you. You could change the slide for me, please. Thank you. There we go. All right, so I'll start off. Oh, the quality is not good.
Well, you can see us.
You guys can look at it from there.
All right, so
I could fix it.
that's me. My name's Ayan. I'm the president. I became president like last year. I'm currently majoring in cell biology and neuroscience with a possible minor in cognitive science. Mostly because of this club. Luna, if you'd like to go next.
Okay, my name is Luna Lee, and I'm the vice president. I'm majoring in human resources and psychology, and I joined Cognitive Science Club last year during the fall, and yeah, it's been a good time.
Yeah, I'm Peter. I'm computer science, cognitive science double major. I've been here since freshman year. It definitely convinced me to pick up the Cog Sci major.
Duncan.
I'm Duncan. I'm a double major in kind of science and economics with a minor in comp sci. I'm a community director.
I'm Amr. I'm a sophomore. I major in computer science, and I'm here because I wanted to join the Cognitive Science Club, so I did.
That's partly true.
Mostly true. Entirely true.
Cynthia.
I'm Cynthia. I'm a sophomore. I joined the club last
Oh,
year.
I'm sorry.
Wow, I guess skip someone, but it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, sorry.
And I'm majoring in cognitive science.
All right, I guess I'll go. Hey everyone, my name is Razak. I'm a senior, double major in computer science and psychology. I joined Cog Sci pretty early on as a freshman, mostly as a way to get free food. But then I kind of, I like the talks and I like the data science boot camp and a couple other events, and here I am now.
It's over there. All right, whatever.
Jess. Hello. So Jess, my name is Jess Kehoe, and I'm one of the graphic designers for the club. This is actually my first year in this club, but I'm a cognitive science major and DCIM and psychology.
Cool. Could you could you elaborate on what DCIM is?
Yeah. Digital communication, information, and media.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So that's why I took it. It's only 18 credits.
Nice. Connie isn't here, but Veda?
Hi, I'm Veda. I am a sophomore. I'm a cognitive science and philosophy double major. Sounds a lot fancier than it is. And I joined Cognitive Science Club, I think, technically last year, but I'm one of the event coordinators here.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a sophomore double majoring in computer science and possibly cognitive science, and I'm also in the 4+4 med program. I joined cognitive science this year, and I'm really excited to be here.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Miriam. I'm a junior and I'm majoring in cognitive science on the neuro track, and I'm minoring in math just for fun, I guess. Yeah. Oh, and I'm the marketing director here as well.
Oh, me too.
All right, so before we get into the rest of our meeting, our e-board members are going to kind of go around. You might have heard us discussing this earlier. We're going to go around and we're going to ask you all what you think cognitive science means. Before we get started, can anyone just raise their hand and tell me what they think cognitive science means?
Don't be shy. We only fight on Thursdays. Yeah.
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah. So you got lucky.
All right.
So if you guys could like move
Oh.
down so we can
Oh.
get people into the room.
Yes. What's your name?
Aaron.
Jaren. Nice to meet you.
So I think cognitive science is like the interdisciplinary study of the mind, like a combination of different.
Great. That's a great way to start. All right. So we're going to disperse. I guess You guys can go over here, you guys can go over here, and I'll hover around somewhere.
Should we like pair up or just go on a one?
You can pair up. Yeah. we can do that.
Should I talk to the Zoom?
I can talk.
You got it?
Going to one of those. Yeah, I guess you go.
Yeah, I'm just, because you can't tell. I bet someone's gonna do that.
What's like your general idea of
I'm Alex, junior, I'm a Cog Sci Major, I'm a jealous Alaska major.
Haven't decided yet. Probably gonna be MBD, CDF, double, hopefully double major Japanese.
Y'all got it sound.
All right, guys, what's up?
Like when I took intro to cognitive science, I got
What about you?
You're not so worried. And how many guys? Over 1,000.
I'm very bad at names.
I don't know. Dogs are more. Well, you prefer dogs.
As a matter of fact, you got one more theory right now.
You know, I wonder if someone cognitive science, like, there's a lot, we rely some amount, like, even though we're not like deaf, we can still rely on, like the fact, the math, like,
No, I just did 2020, I graduated.
the pizza all done.
Yeah.
No. Oh, there's still some.
It's different than ours.
No, I'm a junior.
There's a lot of online resources that you can do. So like if your professor sucks, the internet tells you.
I haven't declared it yet. And it's probably gonna be yeah. So it's like yeah, I'm kind of an indecisive person.
There's like deep learning, which is a computer scientist as a neuron and trying to copy it and make his own brain. And then it's really nothing like that, but that's like the way there's something about
Yeah, no, like yeah, I don't really know anything about economics. Actually. I only know yeah. So taking cognitive science. Cognitive science was not like a hard, it wasn't like biology or psychology. Yeah, I mean it is. Yeah, because it's like the only thing you can But the crinkle, my dad has a permanent. Oh, yeah, in Japanese class, my professor was like double math.
Okay, you said it was a grading thing, so they didn't get the message.
Had like one of the circle maps,
Yeah.
and then a cloth map over it. It was like so much, and like especially in a foreign language. I don't know. I like the culture.
You should ask them to sign in the attendance thing.
Yeah. No, no, no. We're on
Does it not matter? Okay.
We're good. We can go back.
Are we gonna move on now?
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll move on now.
Yeah, I like some but I'm not really.
I hope everyone enjoyed that discussion. I hope you got an idea of what cognitive science is. Now we're kind of going to tell you what the club thinks cognitive science is and give you a more concise definition. So cognitive science is really a combination of a bunch of different fields, right? We have psychology, philosophy, computer science, UI, UX, neuroscience, and linguistics listed here, but the list goes on. Really anything that studies the mind. I know I saw some economics people in here, economics, behavioral economics, that's definitely incorporates cognitive science. Sociology incorporates cognitive science, right? So a bunch of different things that study the way people think, the way people behave, the way people communicate. Anything that has to do with thought and human behavior or human thought or studying the mind in general, right? And the important thing about cognitive science really is that it's an intersection of all these different things. You're trying to find the common ground with everything, right? Many people, at least when I say many people, mainly me, when I first found out about cognitive science, I wondered why I study cognitive science rather than neuroscience, which is what I'm studying right now. And the thing is, neuroscience is just one part of the bigger field. It's like you have the hardware and the software, right? Neuroscience is the hardware. What else can be the hardware? Actual computer, right? You can have a computer that's running AI, that's running a kind of consciousness, right? But that's only one part of the problem. You need other things to define what the software is, what the limitations of that are, right? That's really what cognitive science is about. It's understanding those limitations by combining a bunch of different fields that study the mind. So, what do we do at the club? Well, our biggest objective is really just to build the community. Our club grew pretty fast over the past 3 or 4 years. Our predecessors did a really great job, and we aim to do the same. We want to just bring cognitive science to as many people as we can because it interests a lot of people and they don't even know about it. We also want to expose the community or the developing community to cognitive scientists, not only at Rutgers, but to cognitive science beyond Rutgers as well. We do this by having different kind of guest speaker events, which we'll get into the logistics of that later and how that's going to work this semester. And we also have alumni talks. So we have different alumni come in who have graduated from the department or who have done work with the department, and they come in and talk about their experiences after graduation, during their time at Rutgers, and how their time at Rutgers has influenced them going forward. We also like to have discussions. We'll get into exactly how we're incorporating like discussions and debates into our club later on. That's a distinct part of our club that we're kind of trying out this year. And finally, we like to, it's not all serious. We like to have some fun. And we like to do game nights and movie nights as well. We'll actually have a movie night coming up in October, a horror themed movie night, which will be pretty cool. And we should be having a game night around December towards finals. Go ahead.
Cool. Do we do this one?
Yeah.
So how do meetings work? So we're going to alternate between in-person and online events just because of like the COVID situation and reserving rooms such as that. So in-person events will be streamed using Zoom, using like a static link. So we're going to be using the same link for every Zoom meeting. And the online events will also use the same link. So if you find the link, you just want to save that link and then keep it for later. It's going to be on the Discord. And we might should put on a good involved, but basically, yeah, we're gonna be using the same Zoom link. Let's see. So we're gonna have guest speaker events. So for the guest speaker events, so they're still gonna be virtual. They were virtual last year, but we're gonna continue doing the virtual type events just because it's easier to get the speakers in and the transportation and the doing all that's a little bit much for us. So we're gonna be doing it virtual this year. And then our debates will be in person. So they're gonna be there's gonna be more talk based. And I think it's gonna be like preliminary.
We'll get into
info?
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
And yeah, we'll just provide you more detailed event list later. So yeah, you can look at this for now, but it might be in a fancier.
I saw some people taking pictures. We'll send this out, so you don't need to worry about like when meetings are being scheduled and who you're going to be seeing at a particular.
And yeah, so basically in the fall, we did a couple events. So we had a virtual movie night. Oh, thanks Zoom. Anyways, so we're having a virtual movie night where we watched Blade Runner 2049. And then we have some alumni lectures. So basically some alumni from the club come back and talk about their experiences, their journey with the club and how they've moved on and like how they've grown in their career paths and such. We are having an alumni panel this year, so we'll be talking more about that later. And then we have linguistic stereotypes and bias in machine learning. Dr. Gangdoff Nicholas came in and yeah, he talked about stuff like that. Also, in our spring, we had an interdisciplinary research conference. So we brought in people that did research here at Rutgers and to present their research if you're interested in doing research here at Rutgers. They presented stuff like mood, music, memory. That was a really cool one. This is like an example poster. And yeah, let's see. We also had some speakers such as Dr. Daniel Dennett. He is a famous philosophy guy. I don't really know his work that well.
He's like super foundational, especially like if anyone's already taken Intro to Cog Sci, you've heard of Dan Dennett. And if anyone's like read anything about like philosophy of mind stuff, you've heard of Dan Dennett as well. He's pretty out there. Getting him was a miracle. That was really great. But yeah, that was a really fun event.
And then we have Dr. Anthony Tobia. So basically he's going to be coming back this year. So he's going to be here for our Halloween night or Halloween theme tonight. We're going to be watching the Halloween movie. And then afterwards, he's going to diagnose the character based off of DSM-5. So if you're interested in that, we're going to be having that sometime later this year. And yeah, upcoming events this far, just talked about movie night with Dr. Tobia. And then here's our alumni panel. If you know, our past president, one of our past presidents was Yoni. So I think some of you guys may remember him. And yeah, you're basically meeting like RU grads who pursued careers in cognitive science, stuff like that. We also have next week, this is in the way, let me move it. Okay, Dr. Rachel Ostrand, and Beta will talk to us a little bit about that.
Hi. Hi again. Dr. Rachel Ostrand is a psycholinguist who does research with IBM. Her, for all those who are interested in linguistics, she might be a topic of interest to you. So basically, she studies language production and speech specifically in like context specific. So she basically wants to answer the question, how do people change when they speak to X group or to Y group? And how do patterns of speech change with things like cognitive impairment, age, like what culture you belong to, and stuff like that. Her work is super interesting. She also, if any of you guys are interested in diseases like Alzheimer's or anything similar, or dementia, she also does a lot of work with that. And with guest speakers, actually, I think Jan had a similar story with a guest speaker here with research.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you like someone and you're like, hey, I think they're cool and I want to do research on them, I think it'd be kind of cool. You could like harass them. Just don't do that. Don't harass them, please don't. You could like email them and be like, hey, I think your research is really interesting. Do you have any openings, or do you know anyone else? And you could. I think Ayan actually got his research through one of the guest speakers here.
I did. Yeah, it's a great networking opportunity. So
Yeah.
the more you come to different kind of guest speaker events, the more you'll find people that fit what you might want to do. And that's something you really don't have to think about too much. But if something piques your interest, you might as well just give it a shot, give them an email, and see what they say, because you never know where they'll go. So
Yeah, shoot your shot. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how many users.
So something that's kind of new this year is neurofreaks. So one of the most fun things about discussing cognitive science for me is pretending to be a philosopher. And this is great for that. So the very handsome man in the corner, Abnoop, raise your hand, Abnoop. He's going to be leading this. So basically, we're going to have an open forum for people to come in and debate a topic. It's going to start off pretty simple with like discussions on like what is free will and other sort of like kind of basics of cognitive science, and then it's going to slowly build up to what I consider more interesting. Other people might disagree. And then, yeah, so there's going to be blog posts that people can contribute to, but you don't need to. And what most people should be looking forward to is the debates, I think, especially the last two. I think those are fun.
Cool. The first debate will be on September 22nd, if you're looking forward to something like that. Cool.
all right. So that's a brief summary of what we do. Again, I said we'll be sending out the events calendar like later, so you guys can keep track of that and actually have a detailed list of what we're going to be giving you guys for the semester. But for now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown on RUCS. So if you guys don't know, RUCS stands for Rutgers University Center for Cognitive Science. And so they're the departmental side of what we do. We're more of like member side, we're more of a student-run unofficial thing. RUCS is affiliated with us, and we coordinate with them, and we try to expand the cognitive science community along with them by, for example, promoting the major or the minor, as I'm about to do now. So this looks like a lot. It's kind of a lot, but keep in mind it's going to be spread over 4 years, right? The Cog Sci major takes a minimum of around 36 credits, and it's structured into 5 different components, right? You have a quantitative reasoning component, foundational component, a distributional component, a capstone, which most people do towards the end of their time at Rutgers, if you guys don't know what capstones are, and topics courses, which again are done more towards the end. They're kind of like seminars or research things that you are going to learn about after you've gotten a lot of the foundational stuff out of the way. After you kind of do a lot of this, you're going to have to choose from 5 different tracks. The distributional, actually, before you do anything or choose a track, the distributional will have you choose 3 of these tracks. All right. But the 5 tracks here are cognitive neuroscience, decision making, language, minds, machines, and computation, and perception. All right. So these are what the department decided are 5 things that kind of delineate what, or get to the essence of what cognitive science is, and things you can kind of separate fields of study into, or subfields of study into, right? The great thing about the cognitive science major and studying cognitive science at Rutgers as a whole is there are a good percentage of the classes that are offered by the department itself, but a lot of them are actually offered by neighboring departments, right? there are tons of classes from the philosophy department, from CBN, from like the neuroscience department, from the linguistics department, from the computer science department, right? So we have a bunch of collaboration with other departments. And I think that's what makes our major and just this study so rich, is that you're always going to be learning something new and challenging yourself. Even if you choose a track in, let's say, mind, machines, and computation, you're a computer science person, right? You're still going to have to satisfy those distributional requirements and learn about neuroscience or perception, right? You're going to be learning something new and kind of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, but still hopefully enjoying yourselves. Yeah, that's at least what I really like about the field study. So I bring up this course, Intro to Cognitive Science, because I mentioned earlier the foundational requirement. This is the one foundational requirement. It is Intro to Cognitive Science. This is offered by RUCS, so it's one of the classes that are offered by the department. And I say this now because ad drop ends on Friday. So if you do want to, do your own research and look into taking this course, you can do that up until Friday, right? It's also taught by our faculty advisor, Dr. Austin Baker. She's wonderful. If anyone's had class with her, I mean, they can all attest to how great she is. She's super nice, super intelligent, and very, very accommodating to her students' needs. What the course actually teaches is kind of like the basic principles and the mindset of what you have to get into when you study cognitive science, right? It teaches a lot of foundational principles that are derived from a bunch of different fields. Again, I'm going to say these 5 words a lot: neuroscience, philosophy, psychology, linguistics, computer science, right? For example, has anyone here heard of Mars different levels? Right? Thank you, guy in the back. I appreciate that. Has anyone heard of, or does anyone actually know how neural nets work? And how nodes work, and what the difference is between connectivism versus, a more traditional aspect of computing? So you wouldn't expect to learn this in an intro course, but you do. You learn a lot of this in an intro course. In that same course, you also learn different neuroimaging things. So you also learn developmental psychology, right? So you're really just learning a bunch of different things. You're getting a really good overview of cognitive science and what it is, and what it can offer you. And I think it's a really good point for you to kind of branch off and decide, okay, I think from this point you can figure out, okay, what track do I want to do, right? What do I want to study? How is this going to apply to my major and what I'm doing and what I might want to do in my life? Or if you don't know, this is a great place to find out, right? You have so many different options presented to you to figure out what you might want to do. So, yeah. Okay, so what can you do with the cognitive science major? I think this is a really big concern that a lot of people have. If you go and Google online, what does a cognitive science major get you? Most people say not a lot, right? Well, I think that's not necessarily true, especially if you pair it with a major or a minor that, was more focused on your field, right? The main places that cognitive science majors go is graduate study and industry, right? Graduate study includes medicine, right? So I'm pre-med, I'm doing a cognitive science minor. But you can also do like research. You can go into academia and study things like anthropology, biomedical engineering. You can study cognitive science itself. You can go into computer science research, all these different kinds of things, right? Or you can skip grad school because you don't want to do it and you want to start making money fast. You can go into industry and you can start studying things like artificial intelligence. You can go into human resources. There's a huge, huge cognitive science component in human resources. As a matter of fact, our past director, Dr. Sarah Pixley, she actually just, she retired from the department to go pursue her human resources career in industry. So, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of things you can do. You don't necessarily have to go into research, right? You can also go into industry. You can start working right out of college, if that's something that interests you. Or you can go back and forth. That's, again, what our past director did. She went into industry, and then she went back to research, and now she's going back to industry. So yeah, there's always a bunch of options you have. Now, if you're like me and you're taking a credit-intensive major, like cellular biology and neuroscience, you might not have time for a whole major, right? So you might want to do a Cog Sci Minor. Now, minors, you should really only be doing minors if you enjoy them and it's something that you want to do and it's something you want to learn about. And so I think the great thing about the Cog Sci Minor is that it's tangentially related to fields or majors that you might already be doing, right? For example, if you look at the last bullet here, a lot of the elective credits you can take coincide with what your major might require. I'm a junior right now. I'm entering my junior year. I still have 2 semesters to go, but I only have to take 3 more classes to finish my Cog Sci Minor, which is not bad at all. That's what, like 9 more credits? I could probably take that over the summer, or I could split that over this year and next year, right? And it applies to computer science, it applies to philosophy, it applies to a bunch of different majors. Who here is like a cognitive science major or minor? Okay. You are as well?
I'm minor.
You're a minor? Okay, cool. What's your major?
I'm bio.
You're a bio major. So there's like a lot of overlap, right?
Yeah, I only have to take the intro course and then 3 more electives.
Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, it's a really great way to kind of like diversify what you're learning about. Especially for me, I'm a neuroscience major, as I said before. Learning about like biology and neuroscience all the time, it gets kind of tedious. And it's kind of boring branching out and doing, another interest in STEM, but it's definitely refreshing because you get to see a lot of the work that you're doing, like neuroscience and stuff, in a very different perspective. And it kind of brings everything together, at least for me. Yeah. So let me just, oh, my bad. All right. So that's pretty much all we had. Does anyone have any questions, suggestions, or feedback that they'd like to provide before we end our meeting today?
You in the process.
Cognitive science major lets you take 3 classes from any other department. Is that like 3 for computer science and 3 for math, or is it? Yeah. Okay. That was good.
Yeah.
They have like a chart on like if any of you guys are like confused, like if you go to Rux, like the website, it has like a really comprehensive chart. So it'll have like the qualitative reasoning and like the intro to concept. It'll have like everything at the top, and then it'll have like the courses you can take for each track, like towards the bottom. And the great thing is, a lot of them actually overlap for all the tracks. So like, say you're like, oh my god, I love computer science. It's the best thing in the world. But I think perception is also kind of neat. Some of those classes overlap, so you could very well do 2 tracks if that's like whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Also, pro tip: are any of you guys comp sci majors who are thinking about Cog Sci Minor? All right, hands shouldn't have gone down, but if you do, you can. There are certain comp sci courses that you can take a math course instead, so you can like double dip and get like over that 3 course limit. Right, so you can end up doing a Cog Sci major without taking that many extra classes. Yeah.
That's my question.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Did you have a question? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you raised your hand. I'm sorry for pointing you out like that.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Just clarify, so you guys usually meet like on Wednesdays, 8 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah, we usually have, so with COVID and everything, we like to keep our meeting times consistent, but not all of them are going to be in person, right? We tried this hybrid thing out where we do like a Zoom stream. We might continue with that, we might not. But we will be alternating in-person and online meetings, but they will be at the same time, Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Pretty much every week, unless we send out an email saying we're skipping. Yeah,
that was the HVAC resetting. Don't worry, no one's doing donuts in the parking lot.
Cool.
There's a few questions in chat.
Oh, okay. There's 20 questions in chat.
Somebody was under the table.
You should probably say sorry, guys.
Sorry about that.
It's so hard to.
I will answer those. I will answer those in a bit.
Do you just want to?
Oh, that's so bad. Sorry, guys.
Is there a group me for introducing?
We love you. Sorry.
Shout the urban here.
Oh, no. We're going through it.
We got the masks on. And
Oh,
Come on. I mean, we're speaking pretty loud.
I say
All
cognitive.
right, we'll deal with it later. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we'll answer your questions in a bit, guys. Hold on.
Y'all having fun in person? Yes.
It's very hard to manage.
Yeah,
the two of them. It's also all on one computer.
All right. So thank you guys so much for coming. We really appreciate your time.
If you haven't signed in,
Yeah, if you haven't signed in, come over here. Luna and I will do that for you.
Also, please join our Discord.
Yeah, join our Discord. Hold on.
If you have any burning thoughts or questions, don't hesitate to ask one of us.
there you go.
Yeah, take the pizza.
There's also a mailing list if you're interested. You can also scan it from over here if you guys can't.
Alright, that makes sense. You can also, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be around.
That's a good idea. Kanye already left. Being at the e-board.
E-board. Stay here. Don't leave.
How are you? I haven't seen you in so long.
All right. No, I'm just answering questions in the chat. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
The worst name is where I would like to maybe ask one or two of the topics. All right. Yeah, I took you're on the
What's up, Dan?
You're on the explore.
I am.
All right.
Probably, I need
We should talk after this. Yes. If you have time.
We don't have it. It's Discord and email. You want the mailing list or Discord?
I learned something. I forgot.
Don't leave yet. I'm answering your
I
questions.
need her on the mailing. It's the bottom one. Just scan the QR code at the bottom. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Oh, okay. Do you want me to add your email? I can add your email. That's not too much. Yeah, you're good. I got it.
There's some like intersection. Yeah.
Myself. Yeah, I appreciate it. What's your email? It's Jonathan.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait, is there a group of friends from the Cog Sci?
So I didn't realize.
I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm in the class, but I don't. What section are you from, Amy? Because I'm in H1, so I don't know which one you're in.
Wait, are we in front of it?
Do you have like a thing where you can type in?
Alright, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can sign in the mailing list. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. I can get you in. Or there's a QR code you can scan. Yeah, just can you go to the chat that way? Just put the chat on the left to the okay, so you can scan the mailing list right here.
I thought it was going to be chemistry, but leaning more towards cell bio and
I think I'm kind of confused how Okay, you guys have your phones.
We can turn the projector off.
Okay.
And I didn't know
I want so which one of you guys is like the tech keyboard person, the one that has the email? So I sent an email like a week or two ago. I'm Cassian Savage. I'm the current president. I'm the new president.
Thank you so much.
I'm the new president of the
The data science boot camp?
Yes, that's me. I
Yes.
sent you that email.
Yes, I responded to that.
I'm like,
Yeah, we can talk about that if you like.
Like if there's like a time where like, we could like sit down on campus like on Zoom and just talk about it. This is my last semester at Rutgers, and I know that usually it's in the spring, but if there's any way I could just like help kind of setting it up, I'm willing to help with that.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we want to do a data science bootcamp because that was one of the biggest things that attracted so many people to the club.
No, that also really helped with the staff club attendance. All right, I will I'll shoot you an email.
Shoot me another email. I will be there.
I gotta go to my own meeting.
All right. Miss Bump, sorry. See you later. As the AI track for Cog Sci work. Prati, are you still here?
It's on Tuesday at 8:45.
I guess not.
You can look at the
Hard science class.
For more info
everything is
about the major, click on this.
You do that also? I mean, I have a double major. Thing I do. And a minor in computer science.
Oh my god, you're insane with it. That's kind of insane. Like you just.
Yeah, I take it a lot.
It's like I don't know. It's something I do.
I'm cracked, baby.
You're
Let's
actually
go.
cracked. Honestly, that's insane. It's more of like a sign of non-aggression. Maybe that's why I'm trying.
Got it? Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know why. I'm gonna walk around like this. No.
Okay, I think here's what we need to do next time. We need to have someone who's on the call, monitoring and asking questions or answering questions. If anyone's volunteering to do that.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, you have a class. Lynn will do your 5th year. I'm assigning. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm with the Sorry?
I kind of want to.
Not that many. They just said Dr. Baker is the best. They're answering what the cognitive science is. This Cushy asked about pre-med. Cushy shot. Yes, it does.
Like fundamentals of neurobiology. Because if you want to do computer science,
They're already gone, dude. They're already
Hey,
Oh, you're still here? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
So I'm like trying to be very careful about classes because like Japanese.
Oh, you meant neuroscience. Hold on. You don't have to go yet. Wait. You're asking if like.
I mean, it is definitely an option for like.
Oh, if you're asking the neuroscience track. Okay. No, the neuroscience track is not. You can hear me, right? Okay. Let me bring myself. All right. The neuroscience track doesn't require Gen Bio. The neuroscience track only requires a couple of prereqs from the cognitive science department, right? The thing is, once you start taking more of the advanced courses, like advanced neurobiology 1 or 2, that is part of a major called CBN, which is what I'm doing. And so to take those classes and to build up, you may have to take Gen Bio. I would look on the website for that, number 1, just to check what classes you need to take. So I put it in the chat. Did you get it? I can put it in again.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. You can go and check there what classes you need to take for the neuroscience track. As a pre-med, you're going to have to take a lot of courses, and you just doing a cognitive science major won't satisfy that, right? Because med schools are looking for you to take a set of courses. They don't care what major you have. So as long as you can take those courses and then graduate with a major that works for you, and like you're not wasting too much time, that's really the goal, right? That's why I can't be a cognitive science major. It's too much. That's why I'm going for the minor. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'd say talk with your advisor. I assume you're pre-med, right? So talk with the HPO, the Health Professions Office, and oh, okay, you got a little confused with the tracks. So no, you absolutely do not need to be pre-med to do cognitive neuroscience. You can do anything with cognitive neuroscience. You can go into research. You can go into industry. You don't have to be pre-med. No track is strictly pre-med. I think a lot of pre-meds just do the cognitive neuroscience track because it's easy. It coincides with a certain major that is very popular with pre-meds. Does that make sense or no?
My friend is working on it, like.
Okay, great. I'm glad you understand. I hope you had fun. I know it was a bit chaotic. I'm sorry.
My brother graduated college. Well, the good thing is I think he
Yes, absolutely. Good night.
Okay, I was like, whose wallet is it?
Find somebody to get it for you.
I'm
They
gonna
use your wallet. Like cash and stuff.
That's the most stuff set up I think they've done. That's a stick of butter. No, this is mine. Yeah.
I wonder if in all of human history,
I
anyone
brought it
has
to
ever
use in
used
my
a stick of
dorm, but like I think use it in my dorm. So I brought it for no reason. Like I can't use it in my dorm. Like it's too close to like any.